What kind of love do you hope people feel when they are with you?
Oh, I want them to feel like they're getting their bodies rubbed down with shea butter. I think the love I want them to experience is that they can be freely and fully themselves. Like, you don't have to put on a mask for me, or you don't have to be someone that you're not. Like, you can just be yourself, and that you get curious enough about who you are that you experience that fully. And like, maybe you're out in the world thinking, I had to show up this way. And then you're with me, you're like, oh, wait, I don't got to do that for you. I can be like super nerdy or like dorky or whatever.
Welcome to Living in 3D Power, a space where questions matter, stories heal, and joy is our practice.
Hey, it's me, Emma. Welcome back to Living in 3D Power, and today we're talking about love.
Love. So last week we talked about fear, and sometimes, we talk about hate being the opposite of love. But I think there's a little bit of that fear that might prevent us from getting to accessing love. And so this is really coming from an exercise that my therapist gave me, and I was like, girl, that's an exercise. The exercise is spend 5 minutes a day imagining what it feels like to be loved. And so it's actually a really beautiful practice. And it came out of the Kiki, you know how last week we were talking about Kiki and Oprah Winfrey interview. And there was a scripture that came up when we talked about the exceedingly abundantly. So you asking God and all the things like in my life and thinking about Black womanhood and where you feel like you can show up or where you feel like you could be safe or seen or loved. And so she says, imagine, because she's thinking about, right, God will do exceedingly abundantly over all you can ask or think. So I can imagine what it feels like to embody that in its fullness. But God's going to be like, I'll blow your mind if you just trust me with it. So it's been a practice for me. And I thought, what about if Emma and I talk about it from the sense of what it means to be loved? Because what I'm thinking is, as a child and me learning how to love myself more fully, like, remember we talked about not liking my skin color or my hair, and that's all a part of not loving yourself. And so if you can't, you ever hear the phrase, like, if you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else? So we talk about that a lot in adulthood, right? Like, if I don't love myself, how can I love you? If I don't even love myself, if I can't even invite love into my own life, I'm not going to have the ability to love you fully. And also, you don't have the ability to receive love. So one of the things for me, sometimes it's hard to receive it because it's not something I really embodied. Most of how I saw love was, we're going to talk about this anyway, so I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, but I wanted to set it up that way and say that. And so we're going to do the same thing we did last week because we're working on these conversation cards, y'all. And so this is all about our R&D, our research and development. So Emma and I, she looked over the questions, even though last week you looked over and you said they make sense. And then we got to one and you were like, okay, I don't understand. And that's okay, because we're just going to do these cold because we don't want to rehearse them. So if you get the cards, you can't pre-do them and rehearse them. It's going to be just off the cuff, whatever comes up in your spirit. So some of the rules that we kind of just hold ourselves to, or community covenants, I like to call them in the work, is either person may pass or pause. So if when we get to the physical cards, that'll be something we do. Like, that's much too heavy right now. Listen fully before responding. So we're working on that one. Because sometimes you want to be like, oh, well, this thing happened to me. But as we're learning and growing in conversations, like giving people the time to speak, and then we can say, oh, I have a follow-up question to that. And then ask a follow-up question to understand, not correct. So we're going to look at this again. Emma's going to ask me the adult curiosity question, and then I'm going to ask her the youth-focused one that is similar in nature to the question she's asking me. Adults always go first because we're modeling that conversation, but the purpose is not that I'm sitting here being a lecturer or teacher. It's really that we're in conversation like we always do, because we believe youth got a lot of wisdom, right? Like, that is important. That's why we have chicken nugget wisdom. I'm not here to sage on the stage. Like, you have as much to offer me a lot of times, and it transforms me. And that's the work that we do together. So round one, and I'll say what the cards are going to represent again. And you know what, Emma, as I'm thinking about this, I've been thinking about sometimes when the cards I do following the framework, I think I want to flip these. So if you follow and go to the second one, go down to discern. We're going to do that as a discovery. So discovery is really about helping us notice the stories, messages, and experiences that have shaped what we believe. But I think what I wrote down as a card, a question, I think is more about I feel like I flipped them. So let's see how it goes. So we're going to use, if you go to round 2, we're going to use them as a discovery card. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can ask me that one.
How has your understanding of love changed as you gotten older, especially when someone makes a mistake or causes hurt?
So I think as I was going into before and talking about what I saw, love, this is the messaging I received. So the messaging I received kind of relates to last week where I was talking about how I manage everything around me. If I can keep all of that predictable, it keeps me safe because there was so much unpredictability. You understand what that word means? Like if I can say I know what's going to happen next, then I feel safe. And something my therapist asked me, she was like, what does analyzing everything do for you? And I was like, that's a good question. She's like, does it help you feel safe? And I said, I think for me, it's another part of that managing. So thinking about love, what I learned about love, not so much people telling me, but showing me was that you put everyone before you. And people will say like, that's being selfless, right? What I learned in that is it can be very harmful because there's a lot of people, I won't say a lot, there's people that cause me harm, right? So like, say like my bio mom, or even sometimes like, you know, other people in my life would say things that would be hurtful or they would do things that were hurtful. And it was always like, well, Amber, you know, they're not so rooted in the faith or, you know, they have issues or they drink or they were drunk. It was just whatever excuse. And so what I learned is when people cause me harm, I have to find a reason for being caused that harm. Which does what? So if I'm saying, oh, well, they hurt me, but it's because they have mental health problems or because they're an alcoholic or because they're not a strong enough Christian, where did that leave my pain? Never attended to, right? So I'm so focused on like, oh, well, they're hurting. Their mental health's not strong enough. And then I was left to just be strong. So what I learned is that love is like an outward thing. Like I can put it out to other people and then I never really received it the way I needed to. So when I am in the experience now of feeling what it feels like to be loved, it's an exercise because it wasn't something the way that I needed to feel loved. It wasn't something that was always afforded to me, but I had to extend that to other people, extending grace to other people. And I didn't feel like I got the same thing. So do you have like a follow-up to that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Okay, so your youth curiosity question is, how can someone help you know you are still loved when you have made a mistake, hurt someone, or gotten in trouble?
Hug.
That is your go-to.
Snuggle. Maybe talking to like me, like sometimes I do make mistakes and then I get upset with myself and then you're like, no, that stuff's not true.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Sure.
So you get, do you think, and the follow-up, I'm trying to keep it in line with what you said. So what you said was sometimes you make mistakes and you say things about yourself and I'll say that's not true. Why do you think you start feeling badly about yourself when you make a mistake? That you feel like you're not loved?
I don't know. I just don't like making mistakes.
Or hurting other people or like disappointing people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone does, but I think the lesson is that like we are not our mistakes. But oftentimes in this world, right, we make a mistake, we think that we're horrible people or like there's something wrong with us. And maybe sometimes it's like, okay, if I keep making the same mistake, then maybe I do need to get some additional help, right? But if it's just an honest, like, I did this thing, a silly mistake, that's different than repeated things that I keep doing. So I think that's fair, but I think it does worry me when you say things about yourself like, oh, I'm not loved or something like that, because I'm like, oh, why would you think that? And I'm wondering if it's something that I'm doing or Daddy's doing or someone in the house is doing. It's just something that you have internalized this thing about yourself that you just feel like if I make a mistake, then I'm not worthy of love. And I want to make sure that that's not the case. But if it is, we can figure out, right, where is that thing where ooh, that's the thing that I do, or how I respond to a mistake that makes her feel that way. You know what I mean? So I think what I want to add to this round, we're going to go back up to discovery because we're going to flip it, is last time how we went at the end and we said something I learned and we did the reverse thing. I think we need to do that every round because I think it makes it a little bit more helpful to make sure we're capturing what people are saying. So for that one, we're going to finish this sentence. Discovery reflection. One story I heard underneath your answer was. Because discovery is about the stories that we tell ourselves. So what's the story that you heard from my experience underneath the answer that I gave? What's the story that you heard that I told myself or I tell myself?
That like you make like excuses about like what's going on with other people.
That's good. That's good. Okay, you better go ahead and listen. Yeah, and that leaves me not really taking stock of how I really feel. Right? And so we call that like self-betrayal. Like I'm like, okay, I can understand, but there's a lack of accountability, or like making excuses doesn't really help and tend to my wounds. So that's good. That's really good. I think for me, what I heard, so one story I heard underneath your answer was you don't like making mistakes. It doesn't make you feel good. And somehow it's attached to, and maybe I'm pushing too far, so tell me if I'm wrong, like your worthiness or your lovability. Do you feel like a mistake that you make is somehow attached to like maybe I'm less lovable now, or?
Yeah.
And that makes me sad because it's like, where did that come from, right? Like,
I just don't like making mistakes.
yeah. And how do we help to separate the mistake from you as a person and you still being awesome that you just did this silly thing? Because remember I tell you all the time, like you're 11, girl.
Yeah.
And also I'm 45 and I'm still gonna make mistakes. Like we're human beings. Like it's bound to happen. We're not perfect. Okay, so we're doing a job listening to each other. Okay, so round 2. So we're gonna go back up to the top. We're gonna flip that. So round 2, discernment helps us decide which stories still serve us. So we talked about stories, but which ones are working for us? So some of the stories that we have, like they might support us in being successful or being loved. And sometimes you're like, we got to get rid of a story and write a new one. What aligns with our values and what we may need to understand differently. So we're going to go up to that first one there. Yep.
When in your
Oh, wait. Are you there? Oh, yeah. Okay.
When in your life have you felt the most loved? What did that feel like?
So this is also a cold question for me. Like I can come up with the questions, y'all, but I'm like, there's something about my brain, how we play those cards. I just will prune stuff or shut stuff off. I'm like, I can't focus on that right now. I got this task over here. So what in your life have you felt? When in my life have I felt the most loved? And what did that feel like? See, and this is really hard for me. So I'm thinking the most love. I probably need, if I had a card, I might need to pause.
Yeah.
But I think I can talk about what it feels, what I'm learning, how it feels. Remember I was telling you the other day how I was in the practice of it, and I couldn't stay with the feeling. I kept thinking about what do people do, or like what have I experienced. But then I said I saw your face. And so I was thinking about the things that you say. Like you'll just randomly be like, Mommy, I love you. You're so pretty. My mommy's so pretty. You'll say things like that randomly, or you just come up and like give me a hug. Or you'll do like that silly thing where you're like, why do you do that? Like the quickest peck in the air kiss. And I was thinking about what it felt like, and I was describing it to you like I'm putting shea butter on my body. It felt like that. But it
The
also
smell of
felt,
shea butter, it smells like chocolate.
But it's something about like soothing your body with that. And I remember getting like the salt scrub. It's something like really beautiful about like someone caring for your body. So I thought about that, like slathering my body with oil or shea butter. And it also felt like I could feel like it was dark, but I felt radiating sun. So it was like this warmth, and I could feel light. So when I think about that further, it's like, what does love feel like? It's like God, right? Like I feel like light, God is light. And so I'm like, I think I'm accessing that part of it. So it makes me feel safe. It makes me feel held, because like you talk about hugs. And so my love language is that as well. So when I can experience like a deep hug where someone like really is meaningfully hugging me, and like you give me good hugs, but someone that's bigger than me give me a hug, or like an adult, That's really, really special to me. So I think I'm going to come back to like pausing on when in your life have you felt the most loved? Felt the most loved. I don't know why I can't access that right now, but like the feeling of it, I think is really special for me that I can like start to imagine what it feels like. But feeling the most loved, I think it's probably what I do for other people. Like I do for other people, like holding space for people. There's something about when I can facilitate and people are in conversation and they're sharing each other's stories and they feel seen, and then I'm having them attach the strengths that they're hearing in people about that I absolutely love. And I got really curious about that. Why do I love that? And I think it's because there's so many times in my life I've been silenced or I didn't feel heard. So I think I recently had that experience, or I'm recently having those experiences where friends are like, I see you. And I'm thinking about even Auntie Ellen saying something to me recently, like, I don't want to feel like a burden. And she was like, even in, she said something like, it's a joy or it's a privilege to walk alongside you in the hills and the peaks and the valleys. And that was so beautiful to me because I'm like, to be fully seen. So there's something about love where it's like, I can be fully vulnerable and not pour into people pouring into me. So I'm thinking about all that. So your question then would be, do you have anything to follow up on that? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know when someone really loves you?
Smiles.
So I have a follow-up. What is it about a smile? How does that make you feel when someone smiles at you?
Happy.
Happy. Yeah, that's good. So thinking about that one. So something I am still thinking about after hearing you is, can you finish that sentence when you heard me talk about that last question and answer? What are you still thinking about?
Why you can't think of a moment when you felt most loved?
I'm thinking about that too. Part of it could also be that I'm experiencing so much grief right now. So sometimes when you're feeling so heavy, it can be hard to feel that. But yeah, that's a really good question that I'm asking myself. And for you, something I am still thinking about after hearing you is what my face looks like. Because I know how I respond, and my friend and I have talked about this when someone has a face, and you're really perceptive of that. Like you'll be like, oh, you look like you're mad at me. And so I wonder like how important it is. Facial expressions are really important to you. So how often do you not get that? And like, are you getting, I don't want to say like an equal number, but like if a smile does that for you, what does a frown or a scowl do for you? That's something I'm still thinking about. Okay. So round 3, now we're back to our regular practice here. Devotion asks what we will practice, protect, or create because of what we have discovered. So what's the question you have?
What kind of love do you hope people feel when they are with you?
Ooh. I want them to feel like they're getting their bodies rubbed down with shea butter. No. I think the love I want them to experience is that they can be freely and fully themselves. Like you don't have to put on a mask for me, or you don't have to be someone that you're not. Like you can just be yourself, and that you get curious enough about who you are that you experience that fully. And like maybe you're out in the world thinking I had to show up this way, and then you're with me, you're like, oh wait, I don't gotta do that for you. I can be like super nerdy or like dorky or whatever. Like I want people to feel that. And then I want them to see what I hope they see is their worthiness, not in what they do, but just simply because they exist. Like that they're dropping chicken nuggets, that I'm learning from them, that I'm not, because sometimes in my title, people will think, oh, well, she has all the knowledge, and I don't. So I want people to feel like we're in equal partnership to this. So I think that's the kind of love I hope people experience. I want it to be radiating warmth, that they feel deeply held. Is that good? I feel like I have the follow-ups and you don't have any follow-ups. I always got a follow-up because I'm like, I got so many questions. So for you, what is one way we can help the people we love feel safe, seen, or cared for this week?
spend time. One of my other love languages is food. I love to eat. And I like going out with people too. So, dinner. I like going out to restaurants.
So my follow-up to that is, will we have opportunity to do that this week? How so?
Pittsburgh.
So, and also one of my love languages is food and spending time and breaking bread. So, I had you look at that restaurant yesterday. Listen, and I'm bougie. I'm bougie over here with the food. So the one place is a Michelin recommended restaurant. It doesn't have a star, but it's Michelin recommended. We love that. So it's supposed to be like this really amazing dumpling place. And I know you said you don't like dumplings, but I'm getting the variety dumpling thing because you get to try each type.
Well, I only had frozen dumplings.
Girl, these are going to be freshly made dumplings.
Yeah,
It's going to change your
I
life.
might try one, but I don't really like the filling.
Yeah, and there's different fillings.
Yes, I don't like pork filling.
So I think not only are we going to have time, right, to like exercise your love language and my love language of food, so we can, and I think we all share that. Well, Maya's working on that, and she loves it. She loves it.
Yeah.
So y'all, we're going to visit Carnegie Mellon this week because Maya really loves art. She just finished up her character design class, her pre-college class, but she also really loves science. So she's a senior this year, and she found a school. So Carnegie Mellon does interdisciplinary studies, which means that you can pick 2 different fields of study and combine them into a major. I also think it's really like a dual major program, so she can do it. She'll be an art major, but then she can take biology classes. So she found this program because she doesn't want to go terribly far from home. So we're going to travel there tomorrow, but also because this is love language and this is connecting, is that she loves museums. You also do, but Maya, you could just drop her off at the museum and just pick her up 5 hours later. She just really wants to be by herself. I don't believe she likes talking to us when she's at the museum.
She just looks around.
So we're going to the Carnegie Art Museum tomorrow. Carnegie Mellon Art Museum, I think it's called, but they also have like the National Natural History Museum is connected to it. But we're definitely going to go to the art side of that. Visit Carnegie Mellon on Tuesday, and then Wednesday going to the aviary. And I'm hoping birds don't poop on me. It's a whole bunch of birds. So she wanted, because she loves birds too, because she loves biology, all the things. So we're doing
Birds
that.
better not poop in my hair.
And then we're finding the food, because there's so much good food. So we're going to do all those things. So we'll send y'all, you'll see it on our stories and things like that. So I think that is awesome. So you said doing that. So for this round, then we'll say, the next time someone we love is having a hard day, we will. So collectively, what can we do if someone's having a hard day?
Hug.
I think that connects to both of us, though, right? But I think you've done that for me. You know what you did for me, like having hard days? Like, you would make me food. I don't even know if you realize, like, that was just really sweet. You'd be like, Mommy, like, do you want something?
Oh, right. When I asked you, do you want fries?
Yeah, or like even the day before, like you made me like a breakfast sandwich. Like, so I think that's really sweet. It's really helping me to be like, even though like I'm your mom, like you can still care for me even at 11. You're like, mommy's not 100%, so let me care for her. And I'm very honest about like what I'm feeling so that you know. So I think that has been really sweet, and it reflects like a really beautiful love language to me. Okay, so now we're going to do the back and forth. So this is the reciprocal witnessing part, which I and my work call harvesting. It's like when all the wisdoms in the room, people come together and they share out. And I'm like, there's something beautiful about that. But you're going to complete your sentence, and I'll do mine, and then we'll reverse.
Something I heard you say that I want to remember is I think that how when you imagine love, you thought of me.
With that face. You are the embodiment of that. Yes. Okay. So something your answer helped me understand differently is. Oh, okay. Focusing on the answer that you gave, because I'm thinking about how you responded to an answer that I gave. But an answer you gave about smile, and I think about like a bigger word for that is like countenance, like what I'm looking like on my face. And like so much of what we say is not as important as what we show. So I think I have to be more mindful. Like, you know how we did the facial massages and we were doing this part?
I like that.
Right. Like how we get so tense here. And like, even when I'm feeling it, I'm like, girl, that's a little sore. It shouldn't be sore there. So how much is my face like scrunched up and what am I feeling? So when you're mirroring for me, like, mommy, what's wrong? Like, that's probably because my face is probably like scrunched up. But I think you're helping me understand, like, to be more embodied and to realize where the tension is in my body and to release that. Okay, something I heard you say that I want to remember is, there's a couple things, but I think I'm thinking back to the one question about when you make a mistake and when you get in trouble, but it's like this feeling comes over you where you feel like I know you don't like how it feels, but how do we sit with the feeling long enough to know that it has nothing to do with if you can be loved or not? Like, how can we be like, ooh, I feel crappy about what I did, and it doesn't mean that I'm a crappy person. I think that's a hard lesson for a lot of people to learn, but I think it's a worthwhile lesson. You can switch.
Oh. Something your answer helped me understand differently is that you like when I bring you food. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that. Well, it was cute. It was even the thought that you asked me as you were making yourself something, that you were like, hey, would you like something? I was like, that was super thoughtful. And I was like, is she doing that because she feels like I'm like a little sad puppy dog, or are you just doing that because you're being thoughtful? Maybe it's a little bit of both. But I think that's really nice to be, for someone, right, that is the caretaker, to be cared for. And particularly by their child. I think some people be like, that's so inappropriate, but I think it's really sweet that you're like, oh, I'm making stuff for myself, but I'm going to think about maybe my mommy wants something. This face, y'all. So after everything we talked about today, like, what is your chicken nugget wisdom for the group? So I can envision this, like when we have a card, we're going to be like, chicken nugget, put the chicken nugget card out. Bam. What's your chicken nugget wisdom from this conversation on love?
Everyone deserves to be loved and feel loved.
True. And I think that is what I'm holding on to, right? Because a lot of my life, I said that I couldn't access love the way I needed to, but I'm like, everyone deserves it. And that might look different for you. It might look different for me, but we have to get curious about what it looks like and feels like for ourselves. That's the work. I think that's good. It's a good chicken nugget. So y'all, what we're going to do is, and we'll follow up with, you'll see in the Substack, because actually we won't release this until Wednesday. We'll be in Pittsburgh still.
Yeah.
Hopefully not getting pooped on by birds. It might happen. I don't know what's going to happen.
Not my hair.
Listen, that's like a fear. Like, if something, what we going to do if it gets in our hair? It's not going to happen.
I'm going to wear a bonnet.
You're going to be in there with the...
Yeah,
It's going to be cool, though. I'm excited for Maya to see it. But I tweaked the question that my therapist asked me a little bit. With the question I'm going to invite people to think about in the Substack subscriber chat is, if love wasn't something you had to define, but something you could only describe with your body, what would it feel like? Because there's so many definitions of love, and I'll talk about this in the Substack about, like, Bell Hooks gives a really good definition of love, and I use a lot. The Bible has a really good definition of love. So you can see those definitions, and love is supposed to be selfless. I think sometimes we can weaponize selfless and be like not loving ourselves. So defining that, getting away from definition of what it looks like and thinking about what it feels like in our body, because that helps us to invite it more into our lives. That is the practice. So if you want to take on the challenge that my therapist gave me, 5 minutes a day, just be still and imagine what it feels like to be loved in your body, embodied love. And I also think, because Emma said everyone deserves to feel loved, but you got to know what it feels like in your body so you can receive it. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Wish us luck in Pittsburgh. We're going to eat all the good food.
let's hope no birds pooped in my hair.
I hope not.
I just got it done.
Yeah, I did a quick retwist because she's just going to be in the pool anyway.
Yeah,
But
I'm a fish.
all right, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm so glad you joined me and Mommy for this episode of Living in 3D Power. I hope you like it. Now do me a favor before you leave. Subscribe to our Substack and make sure you subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts too. And hey, do me another favor. Share this episode with a friend or family member. If something we said made you laugh, made you smile, or it might mean something to them, just send it away. Okay, one more favor. That's a lot of favors, I know. Head over to the comments on our social media. Tell us what made you say, "That's deep, bro." Because your words encourage other people and they encourage us too. See you next time.